Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I am going to show you around another version of my personal curriculum within Notion. I've learned a lot of skills within Notion that I didn't know before. So since my last video on Notion and showing you around my autumny, cozy template of my initial stages of my personal curriculum planner, there are lots of things that I want to show you in this newer version that I've made. It's a black, sophisticated theme. So I wanted to go with that minimalistic theme vibe. So this is something I'm trialing out now, and I hope you like it. I've got my subjects, my activities that go under my subjects, and I've organized them in databases, and I've used widgets. I've used calendar view, so I'm going to show you how I've organized all of this in a way where it's interconnected, functional, and aesthetic at the same time. So something that's visually, it looks great. It's not too busy, and it works in a sense where things are connected and functional and working. I've got pages within pages. I've got a notebook system set up for each subject, and within those notebooks we've got pages for each activity that is related to each topic. So I'm going to show you around how I used buttons to achieve making different scaffolds and templates in order for it to be something usable and not just a timetable, not just a planner, but we've got notebooks within our planner for each subject, and it's all connected. So now I'm going to show you how I've done this, and I'm going to walk you through that. So first of all, we've got our new page. I've titled it Personal Curriculum. I've put an icon for it, and now I'm changing the header. So we're going with a black theme, like a sophisticated minimalistic theme. I've got my header there that I used from Unsplash. So that's very handy to have within Notion. You can just choose your header. And now I'm going to add my widgets. So first of all, I'm going to add the widgets so that I can kind of have the foundations there of how I want things to look. So I've got my clock widget from Widgetbox. So I went in and I've copied the URL and pasted it in. In Widgetbox, it gave me the ability to customize the calendar and the clock to the colors I wanted, and the corners you can round them off as well, which I really loved. And so I'm just going to pop them in now. I've also got a quotes widget, which you can go in and you can change what quote you want it to be, which is fantastic too. Lots of customization, which I'm loving in Notion, and also the widgets that are available in Widgetbox. So these are my 3 favorite widgets from Widgetbox. They're all free as well. So I'm putting down the foundations of the layout. I've got my clock, digital clock on the left, and my quote on the right. And now I'm putting in a divider, like a simple gray divider to divide the information. I feel like it really breaks things apart, and it helps visually to, it's pleasing to the eye, and it's not too busy. Like it cuts the busyness off a little bit, and it categorizes, the heading. And now you've got your dashboard ready. Now I'm adding a call out menu, which I'm going to use as a quick link setup. And I'm going to add resources within that, like a page for resources, which is handy. So each time that like you have a resource, you can just put it in there and you can easily find that. And then I've got a page for my brain dump. So if I have like something that just has come to mind and I don't know where exactly it would go, I'd put it in my brain dump page. So this is something that would be very handy and something I feel like I would use a lot, because I do get a lot of ideas at random times and I'm not exactly sure where to put them. So this brain dump section is going to be something that's really handy for me. And underneath the brain dump section, I've got my calendar widget. Okay, now I accidentally went back to my previous page, but now we're back into our new setup. I've added a database using /database, and then it gave me a option to choose a database. This is going to be where I put all my subjects so that I have them right there once I log in. And just like doing some, foundational work right now, laying the brickwork. Okay, so we have our subjects /units, and I've got 5 of them, which I'm going to be focusing on today. And for my personal curriculum, so these are my focuses. I'm going to add them all into this database, and I'm going to show you how I use this information to make an interconnected system. So this is something I've learned since my last video, by doing a lot of research and just focusing on and also applying the skills as well of how to use databases and layouts and things like that. So I've got my first subject, video making, which is, this is what I'm working on right now as well, this video in itself. And then I've got architecture and interior design, which is another subject that I'm going to focus on as well. And then I have design and illustration, which is going to be another focus for me. And I have learning Notion. So I feel like video making and learning Notion are kind of connected in a way, because I'm using them both to up my skills in the 2 subjects. And then we have life, which is going to be, self-care, leisure and gaming and things like that. And now I'm adding icons for each subject. So it gives it that little visual element, and I'm able to identify my subjects using that icon. Now I have a second column, which is the mode of study. And that goes between practical and theory. So, for example, architecture and interior design are going to be theory-based subjects, so more research, writing down notes and answering questions. And then I've got design and illustration, which is practical, I'm going to do more drawing and things like that. So I went ahead and categorized them in mode. And now I'm adding another multi-select menu for the learning source. And that is another important one for me, because it tells me, where I'm going to get the information, what source is going to help me up my skills in this subject. So I've got Google and YouTube for architecture and design. So, that's kind of like my encyclopedia. And then design and illustration I've got as experience. So I want to actually draw things that I can see and, experience and experiment. So I went ahead and filled those out. And then I have a column for tools. And I love that it lets you add tags, because you can reuse them, change them, shuffle them around. So with tools, I've got Canva, Notion, and Procreate. With design and illustration, it's all three. With architecture and the interior design, I'm going to use Notion as the tool where I document my understanding and my notes and things like that. And my next category is inspiration. So where am I getting the inspiration from? I've got Pinterest as a tag, and I had YouTube as a tag, I think, as well. Life experience. And yeah, so I felt like those were a great starting point for me to have visually there, so that I can have a little overview of the purpose and where I'm headed with these subjects. Now, something really cool that I also discovered was making this database into a gallery, and you're able to look at it from a visually aesthetic menu, which is pretty cool. So I've added black wallpaper for each subject, and the cool thing is the table still exists alongside the gallery, so I can kind of switch between two. I can toggle between them. So that is such a cool feature within databases that I absolutely love. So you can have them side by side, a table and a gallery, and just flick between them when needed. So here, I'm just adding the covers going into each page, and you can see I love that you've got the tags inside the pages too. So it's not just, it's not just in the table menu that you see it, but the information actually translates into the gallery section and whatever view that you decide to make. So I was very happy with that, and it's something that I'm actually going to use often, because it's really important to have those, those various sources of information, but different ways of showing them and expressing them. So I'm moving on between my gallery and my table. I've copied my table and I've pasted it underneath so that I don't have to flick through the tabs. I can have it just underneath there alongside the gallery, just to have that already set up there. But basically they're the same thing, just shown in different modes. I've got another divider underneath, a grey divider, to break that up, because now I'm about to add a monthly overview, like an overview calendar, which is going to show us the information. Now we're going to go even deeper in my personal curriculum. Like I'm going to show you the activities within each subject and how I'm going to connect them to my subject database, because now this is a whole new database. So I'm going to, this is now it coming all together. So I'm going to have my activities at the forefront. They're going to be little tasks for me to do in order to achieve the skill for each topic within the subject. So I've got, the activity and then the subject and unit that it's related to. That's going to be added as a tag. And then within the subject and unit, I have my topics. And then, and this is like how it's going to be organized. And then I have the date in which I plan to undertake these activities, complete these activities. And then I have a status function in the table, which is going to show if I'm in progress, or I'm done, or I haven't started yet. And then once I'm done, I have the checkbox there to check that off as well. So those are my headings for this database. And now I'm going in and filling in the activities I can think of for the subjects that I have. And I'm, widening the first section because it's a little bit wordy. So I've got my activities there, learn how to make a simple database table using a chosen category, example subjects. So that would be something I would have done, because I actually did that in the first section of, my Notability planner, which you can see up top. Then I have make a collage thumbnail in Canva, which I've done, and I've actually made a video about that. So that's something that I've done as well. Then I've got a make a button that populates a to-do list. We've got video in video. So I wanted to learn how to put a video within a video and kind of minimize it. So that's like a window. And then we've got learn folding techniques. That's like a life subject. We've got research famous historical architecture in Turkey. Then design a striped bulletin border. And make 2 databases that are side by side. And now I go in and I fill in the subjects. So I need to add them as options, which are kind of like tags again, and then once I've added them in, it makes it so much easier for me to then, just click and add. So I've got my subjects, which are the subjects off the top. So see how this is all coming together for me now? This is so functional and so practical and so helpful too. I'm learning as I go as well. As I'm making this, I'm actually learning new features, how to filter information. So now I've filled it. I'm doing the topics, you've got databases as the topic for learn how to make a simple database table using a chosen category. That goes under learning Notion. Subject and topic would be databases. And that I intended it to do on the due date. The due date is October 6th, for example. And then, I've given an example of the status. I put that as in progress. And so I'm going in there and I'm filling in the dates that I want to do these activities. And it's looking nice and tidy. The information is all filled out. It's visually in a setup where you can see, what activity, what subject it's related to, what topic it's related to. So it's very detailed, and this is it in a calendar view. Check that out. That, I love that, because it's a calendar view and you don't need to go manually at it. You can just change the layout. And now I'm adding the tags to the monthly calendar view, where you can see, you'll be able to see the status of each activity, and I'll be able to see the subject that it's connected to. That is amazing, because in our table so now I have a calendar and a table. The information that I made into a table to begin with, that is now being translated into a calendar view and now a board view, which I am going to have as an overview categorized by subject, and I'm filtering that so that I want it to be, the headings, I want them to be each subject. So we're going to group by, in the menu of the settings, by subject, and then it gives you that. And then, I love this setup so much. And then you have what you want to show in your tags. In progress, the status. I've got my status, and I've got my topic. So that's another one I could toggle between. And now I'm making another one. It's a table, but this table, just to show you how intricate these databases can get, this table is going to be filtered by status. So it's going to show the activities which are in progress. And then I'm going to make another table beside that. So this is all related still. This information is just being transferred like onto the next thing. I filtered the other one into done and this one into not started. And then it gives you a visual, so you can go ahead and toggle between those. I had a chart, but because I had already used it in another Notion area of Notion, I wasn't able to redo that. So that's only for the paid version. Now I'm going in and fixing up the titles for this database and adding the icons that I felt were like suitable, and as a visual representation of each menu, I guess it's called menu of the database, because now I have 2, 4, 6, I have 6 little menus within the same database, but they're just filtered to show different information, and also filtered in a visually different way. If you look at the calendar, and then you have subject cards and the all categories table, and so it's just quite helpful to have all that information there, and just to be able to toggle between what you need at a given time without having to take information, rewrite it, or copy paste it into like a new table sort of thing. It's all there for you. So these databases are really amazing. Honestly, I'm so like immersed in this. I'm enjoying learning Notion. And so now I'm going to show you this button, how this button works. Okay, that's another thing I've been learning. So when I click the button, it gives you like a template scaffold of a notebook template. And now I'm going to show you how I came up with this. So in each subject, I wanted to have topics within each notebook. And so here I am going to copy, where was I? Yeah. So here I'm trying to grab that database, and I'm going to add that at the bottom underneath activities. And yeah, let me see. There we go. Okay, there we go. We've got copy a link to view. That's what I wanted. And I'm going to paste it underneath activities because it's got like the table database of each activity that I want. And that's going to be the template. I want the topics, the activities, and notes. So that's my main structure for each notebook or for each subject. So I'm going to add a button, /button, and then, name the button, adding an icon to the button, just so that you have it, easily accessible and identifiable. So that's what I decided to do with the button. I wanted it just to be a little bit of an automation, have an automation function. Now I'm going to copy all of this information template that I made, and I'm pasting it within the box, the insert blocks section. Done. Okay, now I have my button there, and I'm duplicating the button so that I can then go in and drag them into each subject notebook. And then once I click it, will just automatically make the template for my notebook for me. And it'll be ready to go. Like, this is so useful and handy and amazing, and I'm just so like in awe of all the things that I like. This like notability has the features that it has, and I'm still a beginner, so there's so much more that I can learn, and I look forward to learning as well. So now here I'm just going in and copying, like dragging each notebook template button into each section that it goes in. And once you click it, what I'm going to show you in a sec, once you click the button, that's it. Like, it's there ready for you to go, ready for you to start using your notebook. All right, now here I'm in my notebooks. For architecture and interior design, I'm going down to the database table, and I'm going to filter that by subject, and I'm choosing architecture and design, so that in this notebook it only shows architecture and design. And then I'm doing the same for design and illustration, so I want to only see the activities for that subject. So you have that there, and it makes it so neat and nice and not clogged up. So I'm not having all the subjects in, like all the activities for every single subject in each notebook. I'm actually able to, Notion actually is giving me the ability to choose between the subjects that I want to see. So I've got that there. It's all now organized, nice and neat. And within each subject, with each activity, you have a little page as well, which you can open and write, your notes for each activity. Like if you need to document something, annotate something, you've got it there within your notebook and within the pages underneath each heading for your activities. So it could be like steps on how to do something. For example, folding, learn new folding techniques. Inside my activity page, I can write down the steps to that or link a video or something like that. So now I'm just showing you, how I'm, trying it all together. And yeah, this is my setup. I hope you love it. And this is like a black and white version of that. I've got my gallery view, and I plan on hopefully showing how I'm going to turn this into a cozy autumn fall theme as well, using this, the foundations of this planner. So yeah, here you go. You have all your modes, your menus, easily accessible and easy to sort through and look through. Here, I wanted to show you one last thing actually, how if you change the status of an activity, it changes it to the next menu. And that was another cool feature. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this and this little tour and this little build of my Notion personal curriculum.